So I have this 12-inch shear that I want to mount to the back side of my English wheel so I can get it off the ground. So I got out my Einstar from Shining 3D, and I scanned the back side of the English wheel after spraying it a little bit, and I also scanned the bottom of the shear, and I brought those into Fusion 360. And here is the scan of the back side of the English wheel. And I got the bolt hole positions and also got the width of all these features on the backside, as well as the bracket down there to hold the extra wheels. And I'll go ahead and bring in the scan of the bottom of the shear, and I'll go ahead and make it blue so it's kind of representative here. And so we have our two things are 3D placed, which looks pretty good. And so I'll go ahead and show you how I modeled up this bracket. It's a sheet metal part, and I'll do that by rolling back my timeline. And the first thing I do is I create a sketch on this back plane, and then I create this flange, and I kind of match the profile of the back side of the English wheel. And then I create another flange coming out. This is where the shear is going to sit. And I had a little collision, so I had to move these points in a little bit, which is fine. And then I want to place the shear actually on top of my bracket. So I go ahead and move the shear around. And that looks like a pretty good placement. I created another flange to hold into those bolts that exist on the back side of the English wheel. And I think these two things here I actually made a sketch to put the bolt holes in for the bottom side of the mounting of the shear. You can see them there. And I also put fillets on all the sharp corners. And I made a gusset. It's a pretty large gusset there. And then I created a flat pattern from the shape of everything unfolded. And then it looks like I created another flat pattern for the shear. The gusset itself. So I found 3 pieces of 10-foot by 13-inch 10 gauge at my salvage yard. And I got it on my Crossfire Pro. And here I am cutting it out. This is 11 gauge, and it cut beautifully. Very little dross on the backside. The cleanup was next to nothing. And then I bent it on a press brake. And I welded I welded wet gusset to the frame and put some extra welds in. And I dry fitted. I like to say that it fit perfectly, but it didn't. I had to really hammer it in there. It looked good, so I put some powder on it, baked it in the oven, and it turned out great. The color matches pretty good. So the last thing I did was I added a little bit of engraving on the front side of the gusset. And because this is ultimately these two things are going to be bending metal, I engraved a little bender on here. And it looks pretty good. This took me about 4 hours to do, and it turned out great. So Bender's there inspecting all my shear work. All right, thanks for watching.